Yes, Gaurav, we can start now.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, everyone. This is Gaurav Sharma, and today I will be taking your course. Okay, this will be my second session for this Python. Okay, we'll do more things with this Python, and basically you will be able to learn a bit advanced for this. Okay, after completing this class or this session. Okay, I think. Most of you may have gone through my yesterday's class. Okay, so at least you should have tried something, right? Python is basically a coding language. It's not a theory class. So until and unless you practice, you won't be able to learn anything, right? So I think I can share the file also, right? Computer, let me think. Yes. I have shared yesterday's file. Okay, you can download and go through it. Now, before we start, uh, yesterday what we did, we learned how to install Jupyter. Okay, because this Anaconda package, it already has Jupyter, Python, and some other application like Spider. There also you can code for Python and some other languages. So you learn how to write basic Python codes or all the codes which you want to write in a notebook application such as Jupyter. Okay, and after that we started with Python. We tried to perform or we learned all the basics, right? Normal expressions, basic data types. Okay, and then we come till list. Okay, now today we'll start mostly from yesterday. Okay, so let me start again. What I am doing, I am simply opening Jupyter. Okay, more people are coming. Okay, you can see my screen, right?
Yes.
Yes, right. Okay, just give me a second. So okay, so I opened Jupyter. What is it telling me? That okay, now connection is stable. Okay, so this local server which I told you, right? In background, in backend, this we have a local server. Okay, there this Jupyter notebook application. Okay, it has created a Python application background for us. Okay, so now if you get some error like 404 or something like this, one girl, okay, one of the student, she was getting yesterday. That was the reason she was not able to run the code. So whenever in between, if you face an issue, you can come to this terminal, you can read it. If you think something is wrong, okay, then you can close it, restart, then you can start again. Okay, so I opened this. I have saved my files in documents, Python basics. This was my yesterday's Python notebook file. Okay, this was my yesterday's file. Okay. So I told you that okay, let it open. It is opening. So we saved it as a notebook file. But what if I want to save it as a Python file? Okay, we also have the same option, right? See, I'm also facing issue. Maybe because the server, I'm having the same kernel problem. I will restart it. Okay, I'm closing it. Sometimes it gives issues. Yeah, it is giving issues. Now I think it will work. Okay. Documents, Python basic, the day one. This was the file. Okay, this was the file we saved yesterday. So what if I want to save it or download it as a Python file? Okay. In file, I came to download as I'm saving it as a Python file. So only the Python code which is written in cells, not all the comments and outline. Even the blocks, you are able to differentiate between the cell and all. Okay, Eh, not everything will be saved. Only the code will be there. So I'm saving it as a Python file. Okay, let me save it Python day one. Okay, in the same folder I'm saving it, but as a .py file. Here the file extension is .ipynb, means it's a notebook file. But what if I save it as a py file? Okay, so it's saving. Let's save, and we'll see. Open it. I will show you how it will look like. Documents. Okay, I'm opening a notebook. So here, if you'll see, you won't have all the details, right? Few details will be there, your code will be there, your text or whichever comments you have written, all will be there. But here the blocks which you were having earlier, right? All the things, it won't get saved. So you don't know which part means which part got clubbed, right? So this is also a good practice to take a backup of your file as a .py file, because not everywhere you want to show what exactly you did in your notebook, right? So you can take this .py file as a backup sometimes if you really need it for future purpose. But .pynb is also fine. Okay, if you need it, you can simply convert it, or you can download it like I showed you right now. Okay, now today when we start, we will come to our directory, right? Our working directory. Why this directory is important? Because all our Python files will be here. Whichever function, whichever things we want to do, we can bring those files here. We can save here and directly import it. Otherwise, what we have to do, we have to give access to those particular Excel sheet or those text files which you want to read. So if you don't want to do that, bring those files here and you can work on it. Okay, now I'm again creating a Python file. Okay, it is opening for me. It has opened. My kernel is ready. See, it is showing. Otherwise, it will say not connected. Not connected means there is some issue with your kernel. So you may have to restart it. Okay, now I think it will work. And I'm renaming the file, say Python 6. Okay, let's see what is my Python basics day 2. Okay, I have renamed it. Yesterday, what we did, we came till okay, all the list, right? Now all the list we did. Okay, right. List what we have, we did all the function, right? All these things to remember, right? So just give a basic recap. It was a list, right? In list,
You cannot see the screen. We are seeing.
you cannot see my screen. Let me share again. Just a second. Can you see it now?
Yes.
Is it visible? Okay. Now in list, what was the basic things a list can do, or what is the list? Anyone? List? Arnab? Arnabda? Anyone? If they remember list, what is a list? I've written here, but
List
just
is
yeah.
list is an array kind of function where
Okay.
you insert different types of data. It can be numeric, it can be string, it can be
Yeah.
Boolean as well.
Yeah. So in this list, your data will be ordered, right? Because you will have index for that. Okay, and you can change the data, right? You can pass all the data using index. You can change it. You can insert the data, or you can duplicate. You can also have duplicate values in the list. Okay, all the things is possible with the list. But what if you have some different requirement? Okay, you have some different requirement. you will, when you go through your course, or when you come to the next topics, you will see that you may need some different kind of data structure to save some different kind of data. Okay.
So Gaurav, I have one question. So can we say list is one dimensional always?
It's not that simple. It's not, you can make 2D list also. Okay, we'll come to that. But see, this list is a dynamic data structure. Okay, dynamic data type. So whenever you will create, whenever you create a big list or a larger list, it will work. Okay, you don't have to worry about all the index and everything, but it will be a bit slow comparatively, because all the backend code for this is written in Python only. So what we'll do, whenever we want to deal with 2D data or 3D data, something like that, we generally don't use lists. Okay, we'll use NumPy. Okay, so in that library, basic function or basic code is written in Python, but the backend code is written in C or C++. So that is at least 50 times faster than list. Okay, list is good. Here you won't see any difference. Okay, but when you deal with larger or bigger Excel files, you won't be using list. You can use, but it's of no use to you. Okay, because it will be very slow. Okay, so
Okay, thanks.
okay, so mostly for 2D data or 3D data, you will use NumPy function. Okay, NumPy. Okay, I think we'll come to that. Okay, that thing will also be covered today. So now let's say we start with sets. Okay, sets. In sets, we generally save it using this curly bracket. Okay, this curly bracket. This is also a collection of data, right? We can save the data in this particular data type, right? It's unordered. Unordered means unordered because it won't have any index. Okay, whenever we save it, whenever we call it, the order will be different. So there is no index. Okay, in memory function itself, it will come randomly. Okay, and it's unordered. Okay, can it create duplicate values? No, no duplicate values. Why? Why? Because okay, because there is, you won't here, this is the property of sets. Okay, you won't be having any duplicate values. If you need to use any duplicate values type thing, okay, for your collection of data, you won't be able to use sets. It's not made for this. It can simply save few type of data which you won't need for indexing purpose, right? Just a normal data type, and it's unordered, and also I can say unindexed. There is no index value. Okay, so let's say you want to create a set. Okay, I want to create a set, my set. I have to curly bracket. Okay, second bracket. Let's say I want to create a set of some fruits. Let's say apple, banana, or maybe one or two more fruit. Let's say cherry, strawberry, or something like that.
Also, a very stupid question, maybe Gaurav. So, can we have like apple in double quotes, banana in single quotes? I mean,
Yes. I think you can have. It will save it as a string. Okay, both will save it as a string. Okay. If you want me to give you an example also, we'll do that with everyone. Okay, let me call the set. Okay, let me run it. Okay, it has created a set. If I want to know the type of this particular variable, right, my set which we have created, I've created a type, name of the variable, right? Even it is a set, right? It's a set. Now you are saying you want to create the same set, but you just want to give. If I don't use print, it won't save this, right? It will override. That's why I'm writing print, so that you will see the difference. Okay, now this is your set, the class is set, and you will have all these things. Okay, if you want to save it as a single quote, it's the same thing. Okay, so whenever you save it in a string, either you use single quote or double quote. Inside that particular string, you can use the different kind. Means If the outside quote is a single quote, then inside you can use double quote, right? Double quote. So if I run this, there is no difference. Both are same. Okay. This is also a set. Okay. Apple, cherry, strawberry, banana. I am running it again. Okay. Okay. Now, if you traverse through it, okay. Now, I told you how to run a loop, right? So whenever you have a big data structure, let's say list or set or whichever things which will come later, you can use for function here. Here you don't need, you may not know how many times it is coming, right? What are the indexes? But you can simply write for x or for I in my set. Same thing was I showed you for list also, but here it will be more clear. For I in my set, print the value of I. Okay. If I run it, what it will give? It is given apple, cherry, strawberry, and banana. Right? See, you saved it apple, banana, cherry, and strawberry, but it has not come in the same order. If you run it again, it like the order is not fixed, right? That's why we call it unordered data. But you just need a particular data structure, because sets may be faster than list because there is no index to call it. Okay, just want to save some few values. Okay, for a different kind of purpose. So to do that, you will use sets. It will be unordered, unindexed. Let's say if you want to save one more data, again, if you say you saved cherry. Okay. Okay. So what will happen? Okay, it has also saved the cherry. I will see. Are both of these three? Okay, spelling is sorry. CHERRY. Or what's the spelling of cherry? CHERRY, right? Okay. Now both the spellings are correct. This is also cherry. This is also cherry. Let me see. It won't save duplicate values. So you have to classify something, or you have to do something. Then you are classifying something. Okay. And you are, let's say you are reading some data from an Excel sheet. Okay. And you just want to know what are the things which are unique. So what you can do, you can create that particular list or particular import the data type in any form. Then you can convert it into a set. Then it will give you unique values, right? If you have all the, let's say 50 values, but you only want the names which are unique. So you can use even set for that purpose, and you will get the unique names. For that purpose also set data structure was used. Okay? There may be other uses of it. When you use it, you will get to know. So this is also one important data type. You will definitely use it. Okay. For tuple, very few people use it, but it's for advanced structure. But let's say I will introduce what is tuple. Okay. Tuple. It's also a collection of data, right? So I don't need to write it. But tuple, it's an ordered data set. Okay. Here, the thing is, the values, these data, they won't be changed. In set, I think you can change the data. I don't know. We'll see. But in tuple, the main purpose of this, it won't be changed. In list, let's say you want to create something. Okay. You don't want anything. You don't want to disturb that particular list because it is very important. Don't want to touch it. Don't want to change the values inside it. So you won't be using list for that. If you use list and somehow you did some operations or something by mistake, you added something or you deleted something, or these things will be done in that particular list, then all the original things which you want, let's say you want to create a data set of 10 values, and if by mistake any single operation happened and you written a line of code by mistake which has changed the value, so all the index which were using all the things which you were dependent on that particular line of code or that particular list, all it will get affected. So for that purpose, what you can do, you can create a tuple. Okay, it's an ordered data set, but you can not change the value in it. Okay, if you can't change it, I think it is also unindexed. Okay, unindexed and unindexed or indexed. Okay, but it allows duplicate values. Okay, we'll see with the example, right? and it can be of any data type. It doesn't matter, it's integer, strings, or mixed. It can be of any data type. So same thing, I want to create, instead of set, I want to create a tuple. Instead of set, I will write my tuple. Here, instead of curly bracket, we use first bracket. Okay. Okay, same thing can be done. Okay, now it's a tuple, right? Now this is my tuple. If I want to know what's the type of this, right? I simply create it. You have created somewhere, but don't know the type, right? So if I run it, this particular my tuple, it has of data type tuple. Okay? Now this tuple, we also create values like this, right? Simply my tuple, and let's say I created like this. Now I will say, instead of 10, I will say, let's say get something like this. Now I want to say this is also a tuple. No, this is also, this cannot be a tuple, right? It can have one values, but at least when you want to create a single value, single item, single value items of this particular tuple, you have to put comma after that. Okay, then only it will be a tuple. Otherwise, it will be something else. It can be a string or whichever things you want it to be. Okay, so you have to be very careful. But mostly for single data type, you won't be needing tuple, right? We will have multiple values. Okay, now if you want to access something, right? Can we use index? Let's see. My tuple. Just remember all the basic string functions, right? Most of things might be same. Let's say if I run it. At first index, banana is there, right? If you want to access other items, then also you can do what's the value at the last place. It's cherry, right? Cherry is there. Now here it is saving duplicate values. Yes. It is indexed. Yes. Can we change it? Okay. Here I want to change it. Let's say I will change it. Want to change the value of my tuple at the first index. Instead of banana, I want it to be something else. Let's say pineapple. You want it to pineapple. Will it allow? It will give you error. The tuple object does not support item assignment. You cannot change it. So not possible, right? But what if you want to change it? Okay, what if you want to change it? So there is some trick. What we can do, this tuple, okay, you can create new list. You can create a list. How will you create the list of this tuple? This is my tuple, right? You can convert it into a list. So for list, I have to write like this. You write this, one list will be created for this tuple. It will be converted to a list. Okay. Any single operation, if you want to do explicitly, maybe it can happen, right? You have created tuple, but you want to change the data, but now you know, right? Now you know that you want to change the data. So how you will do that? You will convert it into a list. Okay. Let's say again, what's the type of this? You will get to know. We'll run this. It's a list type. Now this is my tuple. Here at the first index, I wanted to change it to pineapple, right? Now pineapple. So instead of tuple, I cannot do, but I can change it into this. Now again, now I want to know what's the new value of this particular list. Run it. So instead of banana, it has pineapple. Now again, now I did it with my own conscious that okay, at the first index it should be pineapple. Now again, I want the tuple. I don't want it to change again. Same thing you can do. You can change it back to tuple. This thing, this list. Okay, this thing can be, I think it can be changed back to tuple. Okay, and you can keep the same name or different name. Let's say you want the same name. You want the same name. What you did, you keep the same name. You first change it to list. You did what you wanted. You can use append function, everything, delete pop, something you want, but you did it with your conscious. Okay, not like by mistake. So you change it to tuple again. When you change back to tuple, now what's the value of this tuple? See, this is all now again come back to tuple, but the values, yeah. Hello.
class.
बहुत ভালো বলছে জুপিটার নোটবুকটা ওপেন করো
Anything important you want to ask for this? I think I cleared. Okay. If you have any doubt, you can ask, and then we'll move back to our next topic, which is dictionary, right? Next data set. Okay. Everybody know what is a dictionary, right? Dictionary, not that English dictionary. Here we have a different dictionary. So in dictionary, what we have, if you want to go somewhere, okay, if you are reading a dictionary, or if you want to search for a particular keyword in a dictionary, what you will do first, you will a word is there, right? First you will go to that particular first letter, then again next letter, and something like this. So similar type of concept was incorporated in this particular data type in dictionary. I consider it important because it's useful for my work. I don't know whether you will use it, but it's very important. We have two things, key and values. So here in all the other data types, let's say list and tuple, you have indexes. You were not seeing the indexes, right? You were not seeing the indexes. You were just seeing the values. But here one thing is different, which is key. Indexes are also like keys, but indexes are like you don't need to see it. You will know that it starts from 0, 1, and go to the length of that particular length minus 1. So here dictionary, dictionary, it will contain some items. So it will, each item will have two things. One is key and one is values. If you want to know the values which is saved in particular dictionary, you have to search for the key. Without this particular key, you cannot access values. Okay, so let's say you want to create a dictionary, my dictionary or this dictionary, whichever you want to name it. Keeping the short name just to save time, dictionary. We'll save it like this only. Okay, this dictionary. Let's say you have brand, particular brand, which name is Ford. Let's keep it defensible. Okay, again for this particular brand, you will have some different information, right? Which model, let's say it was in, right? In which year this particular type of car was built. Let's say 1986, something like this, 1964. And here I don't want to use this here in a string, so I'm saving it in a numeric data type. Okay, not having any additional value. So this is my dictionary. Okay, this is my dictionary. CT. Okay. You want to know the type, same thing you have to do. You have to print the type of this dictionary, as simple as that. So using type function, you will know that this is a dictionary, right? Because then only you will know that you have created with some good method. Okay, so what I did, okay, here I did one mistake. Here I have to put colon, not semicolon, colon. Okay. I'm combining these two things. Okay, this is the key, this is the value, not comma, only colon. So whenever you want to know the brand, then you have to you want to know the value of Ford, right? Then you have to know this particular key name. Without this key name, you cannot access Ford. You cannot access Mustang. It's also a secretive list, you can say, because if you don't know the indexes, then you may not know the exact value in that particular key. There are some ways to access it. How you will access or how you will traverse through it, you will see. Let me run it once. Okay, this is my dictionary, classic dictionary. You will see directly, you will be able to see all the things. Okay, now if you want to access it, right? Let's say I want to know dictionary. I will simply say I want the value at first index, not just okay. Can I do that? Let's check. It will give you an error because here the indexes are not 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Here the indexes name are explicitly told by you that it is brand, model, and year. If you put brand here, then okay, so keyword like this. Single column, single or double, both will work here. So here. So the key thing which is changed here is the key. Important thing is key. So when you know the key, you will know the value. If you don't know the key name, you will not be able to know the values, right? But if you don't know, means you have a dictionary, someone has imported or someone has converted into a dictionary, you want to know all the details inside. There's also a way, right? There's also a loophole. How you can do that? You can traverse through it. So like other list or tuple or everything, let's traverse through it. Let's say for K in this dictionary, okay? This dictionary, when you traverse through it, what will happen? This K, it won't be the values. Here, instead of the values, it will be key. Okay, so if you run it, you will be knowing the key. Now you know the keys, right? K is your key. Now this is my key, right? This is my key. Okay, here this is my key, right? Now what is the value? It will say I can use for values I want, and what is the value? I want to access the value. Okay, how can I access the value? Using key. So from this dictionary, I will simply say okay. From dictionary, I will say this is the key. Now give me the value. Now when I run it, you'll see. What's the key? Brand. What is the value? Okay. Now this /t, it is used when you print something to give additional spaces. Multiple spaces almost equal to a tab, you can say. Okay. When you use this particular thing, \n, this is used for an additional line. Now you know the difference, right? Every time. So whenever you put these two things, you will use it somewhere or another, but it's useful. Okay, it's just to see the difference between all the things which you want to print. So that's how you will be able to use dictionary. Now few things which we were discussing earlier, can we change the values in this, right?
So,
Yeah,
so can you once again explain the last quotes?
last quotes, right?
Yeah, these one, the K part, the K part.
K part, no? Okay.
Yes.
So this dictionary, any dictionary, it will have two values. Each items will have two things. One is key, one is value. If you want to reach to values, you need to know the name of key, right? This key name, it can also be 0, 1, 2, 1, but you have to here say that this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, or something like this. Mostly when you use dictionary, will save it in with some name. Okay, some key name will give. It's a brand or model or year or something like this. Okay, all the properties which we have for a particular thing. Okay, so let's say you know that there is a key name brand, you want to access it. So you will say this dictionary and now give me the brand, because you know this is the key. There is such key, this name is brand, such key exists, and give me the values. So to get the value with key name brand in this dictionary, you have to write like this. But when you don't know anything, how you can get all the values in this? Okay, here whichever thing is written inside this code, right? They are nothing. They are just simply text. It is simply text. But when you press backslash n or when you write backslash t, their meaning is backslash t means additional spaces. Okay, you don't need to write multiple spaces. You don't need to write space 5 times, 10 times. Okay, and when you write backslash n, it will whenever it is coming here, you will see the even first time itself, it has created a new line. Okay, second time when it came, then it created a new line. Right? So something like this you may need to do. You should do it. It's a good practice so that you will be able to see things clearly. Otherwise, there won't be any space and anything. So you won't be able to see the difference. So when you traverse through a list, okay, these are inbuilt function of Python, right? You can traverse through a list, dictionary, set, or any future object you will see using like this. For you are say for anything, I don't know what's the type of k, what's the meaning of k. I just want to know for all the k which
Are
is
gate duck?
hello, yeah, please mute your mic. You're not using. Okay, now all the participants. 35. Okay, so is it clear? Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
So don't need to worry much. Okay, when you practice it, okay, you will see the differences. Okay, there are few things, there are few times when you will need it. That's why I'm telling you. Otherwise, most of things will be done with list itself. Okay, because data won't be much. Let's say less than 100 or 1000. So there you don't need to worry much. But when you need to do intensive thing, then you will need it. So just a second. Just give me a second. Let me charge. Just a second. Yeah. Now my laptop is getting charged. Fine. So this thing we did, okay, multiple we did, dictionary we did, right? Now, can we change something in dictionary? Okay, can we change something in dictionary? So we can use pop function, pop. In this dictionary, pop means delete something. What you want to delete? You want to delete a model. Okay, whatever function, whatever thing you want to do, you need to pass keys. If you don't know key, you cannot do anything. You may need to get the details first for this key. So when I do this, this will delete the model, right? Model, it won't only delete model, the value which is there with model. So with this entire line with model, it is must time, right? Both of these things will get deleted, okay, with this single line of code. And when you run it again, you will see now this dictionary, it has only brand and year. The model, it is getting deleted. So this dictionary, you can change the value, right? Dictionary values are changeable, you can say. But how you will be able to do that? You will be able to do that with keys and values only. Without this, without knowing keys, you cannot do anything, right? Simply, if you just want to change the value, okay, instead of year, let's say I also want to check. Let's say I have query. I want to change the year, right? In dictionary, in this particular index here, I don't want 1964. I want 1960. Okay. Now, can I do that? Let's see. Yes, I can do it because these things are possible. This is the property of dictionary. You can change it, do all the operation, but you will need keys. So these keys, they are very important. Right? Whatever thing you want to do, come back to here, find out what are the key values, what is the name of the key. Then you can do anything you want. You can delete it, you can append thing or all other things. Even you can add additional values in dictionary itself. I think with append function, you can check it later. Okay, because we don't have much time to do that. I can give you example, but it will take additional times. So till now I have created or I have told you about list, sets, tuple, and dictionary. It's 243. Okay, which thing we can cover? Okay, we'll do some good examples today. Okay, after this. Okay, let's see what we can do. Any question? Any question? Any question?
So another question.
Yeah.
Since like I had a basic understanding of R, so in that we are giving the name for a particular function. So in this also, whatever you have been typing till now, like just for example, let's say in 25, you have written this dictionary. So
Right.
this is not the code, right? This is like this is the variable name or the
Variable name
function
is
name.
this dictionary. This is the
Yeah,
variable
this
name.
is just it can be changed as per our needs.
Yeah. You can
Yeah.
change the variable name. You just have to say this dictionary 1 or 2, any other name equal to this dictionary. You can create multiple, you can create copies of variables, right?
Right.
It's
Okay.
not that big deal. Okay. But thing is the things which you are doing using this function, right? So some in many functions they change it to the original one, right? And sometimes they give you a new one. So why it is happening? It is happening because of functions. Okay, how these functions, these inbuilt functions are written. Okay, so if most of the functions they are inbuilt function, then you don't know how it is happening, right? You don't know why it is happening. Sometimes because they are inbuilt function. If you anything which is written for you, someone has written it for you, you are using it, so you have to use the logic by which they have written, right? Maybe they have did it before you, right? So they had some logic, so you are following that. Here whenever you are doing, this thing is changing in this original dictionary. So this is how that inbuilt function is written. So when we come to functions, what are these functions? We have already used some function. Okay, you don't know many functions we have used. Inbuilt function, right? This pop function for the dictionary or any writing this type or everything. These all things they are written inbuilt they are there. So few things which are very common like sorting, searching, all this stuff, if this thing has been written by someone else, a person who is more knowledgeable than you, who has a very good understanding of code and all, they have written it, they did some checking and all, and they have built some inbuilt libraries. Okay, then you can use it. But what if you want to create your own functions? Okay, you want to create your own logic, which is repetitive. I don't know, spelling may be wrong. Okay, can change it. Something which is repetitive. Let's say you have one function in maths, we can say there is some complicated function, x square plus y square plus something like this, some things which will need to use it again and again and again. So how will we do that? So to define a function, we simply write def def. To define a function, we'll simply write def, and then you will say my function name, right? My function name, anything you want. Okay, then it here some parameter will be there. Okay, here one thing is parameter and another thing is argument. Okay. Here I will show you. Okay, let's say here we will return x and y. Okay, here what it will do, it will simply print the x square, or you can say x multiplied by x plus y, x square plus y, or maybe some y plus 5. Okay, this thing you don't want to write in your code repetitively, right? So many times you have to use it. So you have defined a function. Okay, here it is having two values, x and y. Okay, it is reusable. So x and y, they are parameters. Okay, these parameters, these values you will pass whenever you call this particular function. You will give the values of x and y. If you don't give, you won't be able to do anything, right? You will not be able to call this function, right? This my function name, my function. So this function, how you will define it, here we are printing, simply printing the value. But here if we have something called return, so if we want to return something, in many function, whenever it was not changing in the original function, it was returning something, then you have to save it. If you don't save it, these value will be lost. So that's how these functions are written. So mostly it can do something. Now here, just for our basic understanding, we have defined a function which is doing this. Now I want to call this particular function. How I will do that? I will write the name of the function. Okay. Now I have to pass the parameter. So here these are called arguments. So let's say 3, 2, 3, 2. So if I call this function, so can I call this or not? Let's see. I've already clicked on this. I already run this. Okay. Now I will run this. It will pass access value of x. If I don't define the order, right? If I don't define the order, it will simply say first one is x, second one is y. Because that's how a simple logic is written, right? And 3 square means 9 plus 2, 11 plus 5. Will it give me 16? See, you are simply printing the value. Okay? You're simply printing the value. You can also save the value. How you will do that, I will tell you. Okay, that's how you will do. Now, what if I okay, my function, I will change the name of function. Okay, I will give you 1 or 2 more examples so things will get more clear to you. Let's say it has two parameters, x and y. Value of x is this, y is 1. By default, I have said that y equal to 1. My name is my function name 1. Both names are different. So by default, the value of y is 1. So if you don't pass anything, you will only pass one parameter, 3. Value of x is there. Does it need the value of y? No. If you explicitly pass, then only you will need it. Let's see, it will work or not. You will see that value of x is x square, right? And y, x square means 9 plus 1, 10 plus 5, 15. So when any parameter, if it has some default values, then you won't need to pass it. That's how insert. So in sorting, we have seen that by default, if you have not passed anything, it has sorted in a particular order, right? But if you pass some values, okay, then it has reversed the value, right? When we were doing yesterday, right? That sort function. If you're not passing anything, that means in default function it was written that reverse equal to false. Right? But if you change the value, reverse equal to true, then the value it got reversed. So if those parameters, if they have some default values, most of the time default value means you don't need to change it. Okay? Something is important or something by default is written, but if you want to change it, or if you can change it, sometimes true false is also a logic which is written inside, right? These things you can change it, or here like this also you can do. Now this function, it is very small. It is not doing much. It is not doing much. It is not much useful to you, right? But if this function, if the particular function, all the things which you need to do repeatedly, let's say 10, at least more than once, then this function thing is useful. Right? This function thing is useful. And remember, mostly you will use functions, you will use loops, right? So be careful how you are writing it. Okay, here what we are learning, we are mostly learning to write syntax. Okay, how it is getting written. So everybody know what is a function, but how you will write, you will simply say define, def, define name of the function. Then if there are any parameter in this, you will say x comma y comma. If there is no parameter, then you can also a function can be defined. It's not necessary that some parameters need to be there. It can do something else also. Okay, now like I was telling you, the meaning of return. I want to write the same function, but even after doing that, it will give me return particular different value. It can return me this value also, or it will return me something else. It will return me x star x plus y star y. Okay, this thing it will return. So whenever I call this particular function and pass the same parameter, what earlier I passed 3, I will also pass 3 this time. Okay, I'm passing 3. What it is telling my function. Okay, I have not done this. Now it is defined. So it has printed 15 and it has also returned me x square plus y square. So the value of x is 3, default value of y was 1. So this function is this function, this thing, the things which I want to do as a print and all these things, okay, but the thing which is important is return. So if I won't save it, I won't be able to reuse it, right? Some value, some calculation we did, now I want to save it, any other xyz name. Okay, if I run it, then this is run this, it did it work, and it is saved in xyz. In any future time, I don't need to recall the function just to get to know the value, right? If I run it once, I can save it using return, right? If this return, by default, if there is no return, it means it is null. Null value is there, means you are not returning anything. You did your work, that's all. So if I run this, it will simply give me 10 because it has saved the value. It's as simple as that. So here, we'll do one more function later on. We'll do some complex stuff, or a bit intermediate stuff, but till now think this should be enough to get the logic. I will give you one more logic. Okay, very simple logic, and an old logic. I think I have not covered yesterday. What is this and or logic, right? And or logic. Yesterday what we were saying,
So,
that yeah,
what
Yeah.
is the actual usage of this return function for scaling up and scaling down? We can see the values.
something like here I have simply did this. Okay, here you can do multiple things inside which nobody knows. You can define here some other variable names, do some other calculation, then return those values, right? Which may or may not be related to the things you pass. Okay, but these things you will only get when you call this particular function. Let's say some pi values or some values. Okay, you want to some, I can't remember actually, but some calculations. Okay, or maybe some particular logic, a customized logic. Okay, now this x square plus y square. Okay? This is some calculation, right? This thing I did, I will simply save it as z. Okay, now again I will do some calculation for z and something like this. Again I will do, but after all the calculation you do or all the logics you define, you will return that particular value. And if you don't save it, it's a no use to you. So like this. Now am I clear? Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So basically, return is a useful thing. You may not need it all the time, but when you need it, you have to use it carefully. Okay, it can return a single value, multiple values, a list, an index, or you can use it in any way. In any way, whichever thing you think is important, you can use it for return. You can write z comma x comma y. It will also give you those values. Okay. Scarcity, due to scarcity of time, I'm not giving you such easy examples, but these things can also be done. Okay. You all, I'm considering that most of you don't have any coding background, or you may not have seen it. That's why I'm giving you these logics, that such kind of logic also exists. Okay. Instead of course, I'm more focusing on teaching you Python. Okay. After some times or the next course, you will see that more focusing on data analytics, this particular course itself. Okay. Python will be important, but most of the things which you will learn, you will apply it there for your course. Most of these logics you will apply there. And if you want to do some other stuff also, then also you will be able to do. If you don't learn these basics, you will be able to do it. Data analytics, it's not that tough. Okay, it's tough, but if you want to do a bit more, if you want to go in depth, then you will have to know these kind of logics. Okay, because if you don't know, you will get stuck. Okay, that's why I'm teaching you these basics, very basic thing. They're very simple, but people forget it, or they don't understand it. Why this function is we are using it, but and how this return and all these parameters and things are getting used. You may call a function, but you will do something else. You will say that why my logic is not working. I am doing this, but why it is not working. That's why you should be careful. Simple logics are there. Just go through it, do it at least once. Okay. Now, one thing which we were doing, right? I have not told you end or logic, right? A equal to, let's say 1, b equal to 5. Yesterday what we did, you've written a function, I think somewhere. Yeah, this thing was there, right? This thing will, let me copy this thing, right? It will save our time. Right? A equal to 1, b equal to 6. Okay. And don't use much of these things. Okay. But here we'll say, and some different logic, we will say what is happening. With some logic and another logic, yes and no answer. But here, instead of a simple thing, you will have multiple conditional statements. Which statements can be, let's say, if a is greater than 1, and I told you it's more like writing English stuff only. So, and or you know what is and or, right? A is greater than 1, b is less than 5, let's say. If a is greater than 1 and b is less than 5, then you should say yes. Okay. Else you can say no, right? Here a is greater than 1, yes. But is b less than 5? No, right? So this conditional statement won't be passed. Okay, it won't be true to get inside and print yes. So if you run this, you will simply say no. So when you say and, right, conditional statement, there can be more than 2, 3, 4. But when these two conditional statement, both of them are true, then only it will get inside, right? Either of, if any one of it is false, then it won't go inside, and it will simply say no. It will simply false. If this is a conditional statement, either it will be true or false. If it is true, it will get inside. If it is false, it will move on. Right? Here, if I say a is greater than 1 or b is less than 5, any of these conditions satisfied, say yes. It will say yes. Right? So these things you will also use. Mostly you will use and or, and even combination of and or in a single statement. Okay, a is less than 1, b, something like this, and you just have to write it correctly. Okay, just remember this. It's a simple logic. We know what exactly it is, right? So for multiple conditional statements, okay, in the same if else loop or somewhere else, right? So in if else or somewhere else inside it, if you use it, if you need it, you better use and or. You cannot write if I have to skip it, how I will write? I will simply write if a is greater than 1. Okay, go inside. Again, I will say b if b is greater than 5. Okay, go it inside. It's very poor practice, right? You don't want to write inside and inside and inside, right? You don't need to. You may not need this kind of thing. Right? You can simply skip writing that by using the simple logic and then or. That's all. Over.
Hi, Gaurav, like Jagan
Yeah.
this side, I have a quick question. So, is there any precedent setting in this? Like, if you use multiple or and, then is there any precedent or priority that it will evaluate, or it is like always left to right? The evaluation of the conditions.
No, these condition, and what I'm telling you, that if you use such kind of logic in a single line, it will save your time and it won't complicate the code, right? It's not like first have to write and you first have to write or. It's up to you. It's the logic which you need, right? Here, if this is there, then also you will create another logic. L if a is less than something, b is greater than something. Then if they are within some particular range, a is within something like this. So many things are there. So there is no it's not like you have to first use and you first have to use or. It's up to you. It's up to the logic which is required, right? It is required that particular moment in questions or in your mind when you want to do that particular calculation. Then there itself it will be clear that okay, now I have to check two things, or maybe I have to check another thing, that a star b should be less than 16, something like this. So some logics will be there, right? Maybe depends upon the requirement, right? So when you need such kind of things, then you will do this. Maybe this is and what is the outcome of this particular logic, right? Multiple conditional statements that you will write on your own, right? So whatever combination you are saying, combination of and or, then you have to double check where you are writing it, right? So yeah,
In this scenario, like the conditions that you've written, so it will first evaluate a greater than 1, then
yeah,
b less
yes,
than 5. That it will evaluate. Then that condition, if it is true, one of them are true, then it again do over with the third condition.
yeah, yeah. If both of them are false, then it will check for this thing, right? Otherwise, whenever it will say it's false, or uh, then only it will move on, right? If either of these three, any one of these is true, then it will simply say true. We are basically concerned about output of this particular logic, entire logic. If it is coming true, then it will get inside. Don't need to worry much about rest of the stuff.
Okay, any one of these conditions
Yes.
satisfies, then it will move on. Okay.
Yes. It was important, but I should have told you yesterday itself, but I remember, that's why I'm telling you right now that you will use it. Many times you will use it. Even sir will ask you to do this. Okay. Then you should not say that I have not taught you this, right? That's why. Now functions are indeed now one simple stuff is there. I want to skip it. Which is string formatting. So many people are coming late. Okay, string formatting. String formatting. It's not that important, but simply just hear me out. Let's say a equal to 5 is there, a equal to 6 is there. String formatting. Some age is there. Let's say my age is 26. Okay, and my name is, I'm not 26 today. Okay, my name is Gaurav, and I want to print a text. Okay, that you are saying his name is something like this, and he is this years old. Okay, if it would have been single thing, you would have, okay, you can say this is 0 and this is 1. Okay. I will tell you what I exactly I want. I want to print it. Print this will also save your time when you have to write it for multiple people. Okay, this text I want to print. Okay, but here in the format, whenever this format word is used, it means whichever things will pass inside their indexes. First I will passing age, and next I am passing name. Okay, you simply fill it out. This is 0, this is 1. So his name is what? 1, and 1 is 0-year-old. This is 0, this is 1. So his name is this, and this is this year old. This is the name of text. And now I can change the name of age and name for other people also, right? I can create a loop, right? Then this thing will be used for other people also, right? So now if I print it, it won't print that this thing inside, right? It will print the values. Okay, his name is Gaurav. Gaurav is 26 years old. All right. So this is string formatting, and you will use it sometimes. Okay, when you need multiple things, or you with your whenever it is required. Okay, most of the times you can avoid it, but it will come. Okay, then you should not say that I don't know this thing. Right? It's as easy as that. Now,
What is
after,
0 and 1, Gaurav?
yeah. So here, when you're passing these two variable names, okay, text, some simple text file, some string file is there, right? Some string value is there, right? Dot format means you are passing these two in text. Okay, the first index means the first index we call it 0. The 0th index is age, and the first index is name. 0 index is this one, and first index is name, right? So here age, I made it as 0 index. So in my line, in my string, whenever I want to print, I will know that which thing I want. His name is what? I want to print the name. Name is first index. That's the one. And the name is this much years old. Again, if I want to write this, whenever I will say this, it's again, then here it will say 0 and it will say 26 right here. You can use it multiple times also. I wanted to give you a simple example, but I started with this advanced example so that you will have a bit query how it is working, right? Your mind will work.
So
Yeah.
So here we have used only two indexes. Like
Yeah.
if we use the third index, then the numerical value for that would be 2.
Yes.
Okay.
You can give examples. We can create examples. Okay, it's not that tough. Okay. Now I'm moving on. Okay, there's so many basic things I've covered. Usually these things we don't have time. Now we'll move on to NumPy. Okay, NumPy, which I told you about, it's an advanced function. It's also what exactly it do. We'll see. Okay. Till now, any doubt? I will share this particular file with you when this class ends. Okay, this recording is on, right? Oh, recording is on, right? Yeah. So we'll have class set till this time. 2 to 3:30. Okay, only 20 minutes there. Okay, fine. NumPy. Okay, NumPy will do. Okay, so with the name itself, you will say what is NumPy. It's a Python library, right? Inbuilt Python library. Why it is written? To do a collection of things. Okay, collect which things we want to do with list and everything. But NumPy, when you use this, is very fast. Okay, it is used for arrays, right? In Python, there is no inbuilt, there is nothing without calling this NumPy function, you cannot use arrays, right? You can use list and everything, those things they are inside, but without, you have to explicitly call NumPy function to use array. Okay, so what's its full name? It means numerical Python. There are so many functions inside it, right? So here in NumPy, what we'll do, you can create arrays, right? You can create, you will do the same thing which you are doing for list. You will do the indexing, right? Slicing. There are few data types inside arrays, right? Which I will try to cover, and how we can define it. Okay. Search operation is also there, filter operation is also there, sort operation is also there. Everything is there. Whichever things, whichever data types you will go through it, it will teach you, or it will tell you that if you want to use me, then you have to write. You can use this sort function also. You can use search function also. Why? Because it will contain a lot of data. This particular data point, or this particular data structure, data type, I will say this particular data type will have a lot of data, and whenever you want to perform this kind of operations or a particular type of operation, then you will have to be very clear about how to write all this stuff, right? How to, it's more of a logical thing, or you can say, okay, most of the logics now you will say that, okay, if I need to use index, I will write that third bracket, square bracket, I'll put that index. It can be an index name 0, 1, 2, 3, or it can be keys, but in the case of dictionary, right? Now for NumPy, okay, now get ready. Import NumPy. We are importing this particular NumPy and NumPy. Okay, we're importing this library. I told you earlier, I can use as. How this as is coming? As means, if you, let's say this library name is very complicated. I don't want to call NumPy again. I just want to call it NP after importing it. It's my wish, right? It's my wish. I want to call it NP. You can call it something else, NY also. Okay, but at most of the places, wherever this is used, when you see the examples, it will be written as NP. That's why I'm using it in NP. Okay. I want to create an array. Say, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Simple as it. Very simple. And this is the array I want to. So what I will do, I will do np dot array. This NumPy, it has multiple function. So I will create array. I will give it a name, ARR1 or some ARR. So very simple. So I am creating this thing. Okay, it should have been what? A list, right? But I don't want this as it. I want this as an array. Now how I am creating this array? Using NumPy function. Important, this NumPy library, which is written inbuilt. Okay, this array. If I run it, will save it. Okay, let me run it. I have pressed shift enter, so it is, this cursor has moved to next step. I have not gone to run, right? I mostly use control enter and this shift enter. Why? It saves time, it's very fast. Now this print, what it has, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A very simple thing. You want to know the index values. How will you do? You will say that array some values is there, right? Let's see works or not. And what else we print usually? The type. You should know about it. We don't print it. When we are learning, then only we'll know that which kind of functions we can use, which kind of function we can use for this particular data type. Okay, so let array 4, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and its class is numpy function. It's an array. It's an array. Okay, now here instead of 4, what if I want to access 5? Will it allow? Will say indexing array, right? Because it has only created an array till 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? It has not created anything more than it, but in list it happens dynamically. So I will give you examples. Okay, we'll see the difference. The list 1 equal to this 1, 2, 3. I want to access the value at third index. Okay, it is also say list index out of range, right? 0, 1, 2, 3. Dynamically it creates whenever it creates the memory, whenever you have values more than it goes something like that 2, 4, 8. It creates the value, but there is no value inside. So whenever you want to access something which is not defined or these values, it will say index out, list index is out of range. Next index it can use is 0, 1, 2. So this thing you should be careful. Okay, index 5 is out of bound for x is 0 and size 5. Okay, now what if you want to know the dimension of an array? Dimension is different, and I think length is different. You'll see. I won't print anything. Let's see, length function works here or not. I don't remember. Okay, len. Do we have length for this? No. Right, length is there. Length function. So you can also know how many item it contains, right? Length function will also work for this, right? Now when we were talking earlier, you were saying 1D, 2D, 3D, right? Different kind of array, right? So what this numpy do? It provides this numpy function in this entire library. What the objective is? Okay, it provides an array object, right? Array object that is at least, let's say, 50 times faster than you can say traditional Python list, right? Remember this. Why it happens? Because this list it gets created or it gets extended dynamically, so it takes some time. Okay, it is for you who don't know how to write code and everything, it will be easy for you. But when you deal with larger data set, you should use numpy function, because everything will be fixed, right? You will say data point of 50, data point with 50 data 50 points, then it will create something like this. But if you go for list, instead of 50 it will create 32, 64, 128, something like this. So you don't need to worry about, in that case, about, if you're not worrying about time, then use list. You will be able to do all this basic stuff. But when you have scarcity of time, or when you want to do many advanced functions, okay, in list we have so many things, but with array, with numpy, you can do even more than that, possibly, right? So let's say I'm creating one array. Let's say so how I'm creating an array, np dot array, right? You have to always call np, right? I have called it once, right here, so I don't think I have to use it np again, call it import numpy as np. I have called it once, it is saved in memory, so it will be as np. I want to create an array, let's say 24. Again, this will be a 1D array, simple data point. Okay, 1D, only one data point will be there. Now again I want to create, but with something like this, 2, 5, 6, something like this. Okay, this will be, now again I want to create, but something else will be there. So dimensions, here what I'm talking about, 2, 4, 0. So all these things are there. Now if you want to know the dimension of it, okay, dimension, what exactly dimension means? We simply say 1D array, 2D array, right? But we also don't sometimes get confused, right? So I want to know the dimension. Okay, C. I want to know the dimension of all these A, B, and C. Right? Dimension of B, dimension of C. Let me run it. Okay, to gain some error. Okay. Element must be 2 or 3 tuples, both 2. Just giving some error. Okay. Maybe some syntax I've written wrong. One is there, comma is there. Now it is working. So this is zero array, dimension of which is 0. Okay, when you have single value, it's 0. 1D array means 1D array, single direction at least, right? A single cell, maybe a row, maybe a column, but only in single direction. But with 2D array, something like this. Okay, and I think when you want a more dimension in it, okay, you will get to know when with these things. Square bracket, 1 square bracket, 2 square bracket. So there are 3 square brackets. It will be a 3D array. Okay, so can use something like this. So number of dimension. How you are getting this dimension? I can simply write here number of dimension. Same thing, right? You simply print, right? Number of dimensions. Don't worry about this. Just so that I'm doing this, just so that you will remember, right? So that you will remember. Now, okay, fine. This numpy function or this numpy, it has so many different data types. We can say list of data types. Okay, list of data types. Which kind of data type it has? It has I for integer, okay, B for boolean, U for unsigned integer, float values, complete float values, and object is also there, string is also there, right? And some Unicode string and everything. So many things are there. Okay, these are just the first letter. Just the first letter, which is enough to define it, right? Which kind of things we want. If you want to read more, you can just simply Google it. List of data types supported by NumPy. Okay, you can Google it. We'll have all the data types it can cover. So let's say I want to create one array. Okay, something like this. I will simply want to write 2.1, 4.2, 5.3. This is the thing which I want to create. Okay. Now when I create this, okay, I will say simply say print D. Okay. But print is the type in the control enter. This numpy array, right? Class is this. But what if I want this B? Okay. This particular B as a different, I want it as an integer, right? Here it is saving, if I simply print B, it will give 2.1, 4.3, 4.5. It's an array. But what if I want it as a integer? So what I will say, I have to use function, right? So B I want to convert and I want to change its type. Use it as integer for I. This I, right? I is for integer, and we can say I have to save it with some other name. Let's say C. Array C. Okay. Then now I will print. Let's see what it will give. When we type okay. Initial it was my array, right? It was my array. It has values 2.1, 4.3, 5.5. Now after changing its type, okay, I have changed its type. I told you that it is returning, but it is not change. It won't change in the same array. So here I will save it in another array with another variable name array C, which will be of integer type. all these value but integer type. So how it will save only integer part of this 2, 4.3, 5.5. It would have been it would have been -5 and it would have value been something like this only. Yeah. So these things you can do, right? And two things also, two or three more things. Let me also cover fast and fast. Okay. Now I want to know all the places where this particular 4 is coming. Okay, this is the array I'm creating. Okay, let's give it a different name, D. Okay, and I want to save give me indexes where 4 is coming, right? With list, when I do search operation or something which I told you earlier, only it will give you the place where it is coming at the first place. But here, if you want to find, then you have to write np dot where, right? np dot where the value of D is equal to 4, and then print those values, print the value of X. Now give me the X, right? Something like that, 2, 4. Okay, I run it. Okay, now at first index 0, 1, first index, 6 index, 8 index. Okay, it is told. Now I know that where I have value 4 in this particular array. Okay. Yesterday someone was asking, right, what if we have these values at multiple places, right? We will only get at the first value, first index, wherever it will give, it will, wherever it will find, it will give. But here, if you write something like this in np library, you will have an advanced inbuilt library. You can simply write np dot where you will find where the value of D is equal to 4. It's as simple as that. This thing you can do. Another thing is which is very simple, that how to sort an array, right? You can simply say np dot sort me which thing, D thing you can sort. So if I do this np dot sort, and if I run it, do sort this, right? 1, 2, whichever values it has sorted the value inside D. Okay, I also don't know how many values it have. We will sort it out. So I think my time is up, and I have given you a basic idea of NumPy function. Okay, I wanted to give one or two more example of this, then move on to Pandas library, which I might cover in the next class when I get this. Any question?
Yeah, hi, Gaurav.
Yeah.
So basically, if you see, there are lots of brackets which you've used. So just
Yeah.
understand the means of when to use which bracket. So like, yeah, at where your cursor is, so you have like two.
Yeah, here you are creating that array manually. That's why you are writing it. But most of the time, what you will do, you will read it from some particular file, right? So you won't be knowing, or you don't need to write, or even you don't need to remember this. Okay, just this is just remember a bit how it is written or how you define it manually. Okay, when you read this, you will have some particular data. It may be of 1D, or it may be of 2D, it may be of 3D, right? Some particular data you will have. When you read it, when you save it in an array, okay, when you change its data, do some calculation and all, do some coding and all, then you will have it, you will save it in some particular array. Then you will get to know that how it is there. Okay, so these things will be covered later, and in the next class, sir will cover the next topic. Okay, introduction to probability and statistics, I think. I am stopping the recording. Or I'm stopping the recording.